My name is Avery Thompson and I'm 27 years old. Almost 4 weeks ago at my own baby shower, my mother-in-law handed me an envelope and announced to 42 guests a list of 39 reasons my son should divorce me. My husband laughed at first. The room laughed. I didn't. I opened the envelope. I found reason number 17 and I read it out loud. Her face drained of color. That night, and over the next few days, every single member of my husband's family blocked her number. Before I tell you what was in that envelope and why it destroyed her, please take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy this story. Also drop a comment, and tell me where you're watching from and what time it is there. I love reading those. Now let me take you back 5.5 weeks to the night my mother-in-law started planning my humiliation. It was Monday night at 9:45. I lay on the couch with my swollen feet up on a pillow. I was 6 months pregnant and every part of me hurt. Noah stood in the kitchen talking on the phone with his mother. Sandra's voice came through the speaker, sharp and fast, like she was giving orders at a big meeting instead of planning a baby shower. I have everything set, she said. The food, the decorations, the guest list. Just tell Avery not to worry about a thing. Noah glanced at me. Mom says she's handling it all. I sat up a little. Can I talk to her? He paused, then handed me the phone. Sandra. Hi, I said. I was thinking maybe we could. Oh, Avery dear, she cut in. Her voice turned sweet, but it felt like sugar poured over ice. You don't need to worry about one single thing. Just rest. These big events need real experience. I had an idea for the theme. I tried again. Something simple and pretty. That's lovely, she said quickly, but my plan fits much better. You've never planned a large party, have you? The words hung in the air. I knew exactly what she meant. I had no mother to show me how. The old ache hit me hard, missing my mom, wondering what she would have done for her first grandchild. I'll handle everything, Sandra went on. A real mother knows best. Before I could answer, she added, oh, by the way, I invited a few of Noah's old friends. Amanda too. You remember Amanda? My stomach twisted tight. Amanda was Noah's ex-girlfriend, the one Sandra still sent Christmas cards to every year. That's thoughtful, I managed. Wonderful, she said. Get some rest, dear. You'll need it. The line went dead. Noah took the phone back. See? She's got it covered. I stared at the ceiling, one hand resting on my belly. Our baby girl gave a soft kick. Why would she invite Amanda to my baby shower? The question sat like a heavy stone in my chest. At work I was an analyst. I studied numbers and patterns all day to spot trouble before it grew. Here the pattern was clear. Sandra wanted control, and every helpful move pushed me further out. I felt so alone even with Noah right there. 6 months pregnant and already scared that my own family might never feel like mine. 9 days before the shower, we drove to Sandra's house for dinner. The moment we stepped inside, the smell of roast and polished wood wrapped around us like a too-tight hug. I wore my navy blue maternity dress, the soft one I had picked and paid for myself. It fit just right and made me feel steady, like the analyst I am at work, where I catch tiny patterns in data before they become big problems. The dining room glowed under the chandelier. Noah's sister Nicole sat across from me, quiet. Aunt Beatrice smiled politely. Cousins passed dishes and made small talk. Sandra ruled from the head of the table, cream blouse perfect, pearls shining. Halfway through the meal, she spoke loud enough for every ear. Avery, that dress is interesting. I looked down at the fabric. Thank you. Navy can be tricky though. She tilted her head, lips curved in a smile that never touched her eyes. Dark colors can make a woman look so heavy, especially when she's carrying extra weight. She paused, letting the words land. If your mother were here, she might have gently pointed that out. The table froze. Forks hovered. My chest squeezed tight. I pictured my mom, her warm laugh, the way she would have zipped me into this dress and said I looked strong and beautiful. Grief rose sharp and sudden, the same ache that hit me every time Sandra reminded me I grew up without her. Why did she always use my loss like a weapon? At work I spotted hidden risks in spreadsheets. Here the risk was clear. Sandra wanted me small, unsure, easy to push aside. I kept my voice even. I'm comfortable in it, Sandra. Really? Of course you are, dear. Her smile stayed fixed. Comfort matters. I only want what's best for the family. You understand, don't you? Noah cleared his throat. Mom, maybe let's... But he let the sentence die. Same as always. My heart sank another inch. He loved me. I knew that, but he still chose the easy silence every time. After dinner, I slipped into the powder room to wash my hands. The cool water felt good on my hot skin. The door clicked open behind me. Nicole stepped in fast and shut it softly. "Hey," she whispered. Her face looked tight, worried. "I'm so sorry about what Mom said out there. She shouldn't talk to you like that." I met her eyes in the mirror. "It's fine, I'm used to it." Nicole bit her lip. "It's not fine. Listen, there's something I need to tell you, but not here. Not with her around. Can we meet tomorrow morning? Just the two of us." The urgency in her voice sent a chill down my back. My baby gave a little kick, as if she felt it too. "Nicole, you're scaring me. What's going on?" She glanced at the door, then back to me. "I can't say now, but it's important. About Mom. About you and Noah. Please, Avery. Coffee shop at 10? I searched her face. Whatever this was, it weighed heavy on her. "Okay, tomorrow at 10. She squeezed my arm once, quick and grateful, then slipped out. I stayed there a second longer, hand on my belly, breathing slow. My analyst mind spun. Patterns again. Secrets, control, money maybe. The same way I'd flag an odd transaction at work. I felt so alone in this family, even with Noah waiting outside. 6 months pregnant, and the one person offering real help was the sister who was supposed to be on Sandra's side. What could be bad enough that Nicole had to hide it from her own mother? I dried my hands and stepped back into the hallway, heart beating a little faster than before. I sat down across from Nicole at the coffee shop the next morning. She was already there, stirring a latte she hadn't touched, her face pale and tight. "Thanks for coming," she said, voice barely above a whisper. "I didn't sleep much. Kept thinking about what Mom said to you last night, and worse things." My stomach twisted. I rested a hand on my 6-month belly, feeling our little girl shift inside me. "Nicole, you're really scaring me now. Just tell me, what's going on?" She leaned closer, eyes flicking to the door like she expected Sandra to walk in any second. "Last week I opened our old family Gmail, the one we all shared years ago for photos and old documents. I was just looking for a picture of Dad. Instead I found an email Mom had forwarded to herself by mistake." I held my breath. My analyst brain clicked on, the same way it did at work when I spotted strange numbers in a spreadsheet that didn't add up. Nicole slid 2 folded pages across the table. "It's a PDF of your joint savings statement. Look at the dates and amounts." I opened the papers. My eyes scanned the lines. 3 small transfers, each under the bank's alert limit, adding up to exactly $4,750. The dates matched perfectly with the week Sandra had bragged about buying that fancy new antique dining set. My hands started to shake. "She moved the money out of your account," Nicole whispered, "without telling you or Noah. She made sure the transfers were small so nothing would flag as suspicious." I stared at the black and white proof. Heat rose in my chest. Anger, hurt, a deep, sick disappointment. At work I caught fraud like this every month. People who thought they were too smart to get caught, who stole from the ones who trusted them most. But this wasn't some stranger's account. This was our baby fund, our future. Sandra had reached right into our life and taken what she wanted. Why would she do this? The question burned. If my own mom were still here, she would have fought for me, stood beside me. Instead I had Sandra, turning every kindness into a knife. I felt so small, so alone, even with Noah's ring on my finger. 6 months pregnant and already wondering if I could ever trust this family with my daughter. "Why are you telling me this?" I asked, my voice cracking just a little. Nicole met my eyes, steady now. "Because it's wrong, Avery. Dead wrong. You deserve to know the truth. You're carrying my niece, and I can't sit by and watch Mom treat you like this." I folded the pages carefully and slipped them into my purse right next to the ultrasound picture I carried everywhere. "Does Noah know?" "I don't think so," she said. "He still believes everything she does is just helping." I looked down at my coffee, untouched now too. My mind raced through the patterns again. Sandra's sharp comments, the control, the way she invited Amanda, all of it fit. What am I supposed to do with this? Nicole reached across and squeezed my hand once, quick and warm. "That's up to you. But whatever you decide, I'm here. You're not alone in this." I didn't answer right away. I just sat there, feeling the weight of the papers in my bag like a secret bomb. I wasn't going to pretend this was okay. Not anymore. Not when it could hurt my baby's future. But the fear was real too. What would happen to my marriage if I blew this open? I stood up slowly, hugging Nicole tight before I left. Outside, the world looked the same, but inside me everything had shifted. I had proof now, and I wasn't sure I could stay quiet much longer. That night, the apartment felt too quiet, the kind of quiet that made my thoughts roar. I sat on the couch in the soft glow of one lamp, the bank statement folded tight in my lap like a hidden wound. Our baby girl kicked steadily under my hand, little reminders that this wasn't just about money anymore. It was about her future, about the safe world I wanted to build. 6 months pregnant, and instead of folding tiny clothes or dreaming up nursery colors, I was holding proof that Sandra had reached into our life and taken what she wanted. At work, I caught these patterns every day, small lies that hid bigger thefts, people who thought no one would notice. Why hadn't I seen it here in my own home? The key turned in the lock at last. Noah stepped inside, shoulders slumped from his long day. "Can we talk?" I asked, voice low but firm. He dropped his bag by the door. "Sure. Everything okay with you and the baby?" He leaned in to kiss my forehead, but I stayed still. His smile faded. "Avery? What's wrong? Did you know your mom still has access to our savings account?" He paused, running a hand through his hair. "Yeah, I added her years ago, way before we met. Emergency access, just in case something happened." "Why? Did something come up?" I handed him the folded pages. "Check the balance right now." He pulled out his phone fast, thumbs flying across the screen. I watched every shift on his face. First confusion, then his eyes widening in shock. "What the? There's $4,750 gone." "Avery, how did you know?" My chest squeezed tight. "Nicole found the proof. Your mom accidentally forwarded the bank statement to the old family email. She made 3 careful little transfers so nothing would trigger the bank alerts. The dates match exactly when she bought that fancy new dining set." Noah stared at the numbers, then back at me. His mouth opened, closed. For a second I saw real hurt flash across his eyes. Then he dialed his mother without another word. I sat there, heart hammering, listening to his side of the call. "Mom, it's Noah. The savings account. There's money missing. Did you—" Long pause. "You what? You borrowed it?" Another pause, his voice rising. "For my birthday gift?" "Mom, you never asked us. You never said a word." I could hear Sandra's voice through the speaker, calm and sweet like always. "It slipped my mind, honey. I was going to surprise you and pay it right back." Noah rubbed his face hard when he hung up. "She says she borrowed it. For my birthday. She'll pay it back soon." It just slipped her mind to mention it. "Borrowed?" The word tasted like ash in my mouth. I stood up slowly, one hand on my belly. "Noah, she took almost $5,000 from our account without a single word to either of us. That's not borrowing. That's stealing from our baby's future. From the diapers, the doctor visits, everything we've been saving for." He sighed deeply and sank onto the couch beside me. "Avery, you know how she gets. She's difficult sometimes, but she's still my mom. She didn't mean any harm. Let's not turn this into a huge fight." There it was again, the same old phrase that always meant the same thing. Keep quiet, keep the peace, let Sandra do whatever she wanted. I felt tears sting behind my eyes. At work I was the sharp analyst who spotted these exact patterns early. Manipulation dressed up as love, control hidden behind family. But here, in my own marriage, I felt powerless. I thought of my own mom again, how she would have fought tooth and nail to protect me, how she never would have let anyone make me feel this small. The loneliness crashed over me like a cold wave. 6 months pregnant, carrying our daughter, and I still felt like an outsider fighting alone. "Noah, she stole from us," I said, voice cracking. "From our family. I'm standing here pregnant and scared, and you're asking me to just smile and pretend it's fine." He took my hand gently, but I could feel the hesitation in his grip. "Please, Avery. For the baby's sake, just don't bring this up at the shower. Mom worked so hard planning everything. I don't want any drama. We can sort this out quietly after." I pulled my hand back, slow and careful. My heart felt heavy with disappointment and a deep, quiet fear. "I guess we'll see," I said softly. I couldn't promise him anything. Not this time. I was done staying silent while Sandra took pieces of our life. The evening before the shower, my phone lit up with Sandra's name. She almost never called me directly. My heart jumped. I was folding tiny socks at the kitchen table, the soft yellow ones I had bought myself, dreaming of our baby girl in them. I set them down carefully and answered. "Avery, darling," she said, her voice all honey and steel at once. I wanted to go over a few last details. "The photographer needs to know colors for the shots. I've coordinated everything in soft yellow and cream, so I'll need you to wear something that matches perfectly." I glanced at the dusty rose dress hanging in the open closet, the one I had chosen weeks ago because it made me feel pretty and strong, like the woman I still was underneath all this pregnancy weight. "I already have a dress picked out. Dusty Rose. It's comfortable and I love the color. A long silence stretched on the line. I could almost hear her forcing that smile. Oh, is that going to be a problem? She gave a light laugh that didn't sound real. Yellow would photograph so much better with the decorations I chose. I've already told the team what to expect. My hand rested on my belly. The baby kicked hard, as if she could feel my rising anger. At work I spotted these little power moves every day. Someone trying to control the frame, rewrite the story so they stayed in charge. Sandra was doing the exact same thing here, pushing me into her picture, making sure I didn't stand out as my own person. The old grief hit me again. My mom would have asked what color I wanted, would have laughed and said I looked beautiful no matter what. Instead I got this. Then tell them I'll be in Dusty Rose, I said, keeping my voice steady even though my throat felt tight. Another pause. Longer this time. Of course, dear. The sweetness curdled just a little. Whatever makes you comfortable. I had heard that phrase from her before. It never meant what it said. It meant do what I want or I'll make you pay later. Sandra, is there something else? I asked, because I could tell there was. Actually, yes. Her tone shifted, warmer now, almost excited, like she was sharing a secret. I have a little surprise planned for you at the party. Something I've been working on for quite some time. My grip tightened on the phone until my knuckles hurt. A surprise. The word sent cold fingers down my spine. What kind of surprise? Now if I told you, it wouldn't be a surprise, would it? She laughed softly. Don't worry your pretty head. I think everyone will love it. It's very personal, something only a mother could put together. I just want everything perfect for the family. You understand, don't you? Personal. The word sat heavy in my stomach like a stone. I thought of the stolen money, the list Nicole had hinted at, Amanda being invited. My analyst mind raced through every pattern I had seen so far. Small cuts, bigger wounds, all leading to this party where she could control the whole room. What if the surprise was meant to hurt me in front of everyone? What if it was another way to make me feel small, to remind me I didn't belong? Tears burned behind my eyes. 6 months pregnant and I felt more alone than ever, even with our daughter growing inside me. I understand perfectly, I said quietly. Wonderful. See you tomorrow, dear. Get plenty of rest, you'll need your strength. The line went dead. I stood there in the quiet kitchen, one hand still on my belly, the other still holding the phone. The dusty rose dress swayed gently in the draft from the window. Every instinct screamed that tomorrow was going to be a battle. I had the bank statement hidden in my purse like a shield. But what if it wasn't enough? What if her surprise was worse than I could imagine? I whispered to my baby. We're going to be okay, little one. Mommy's going to protect you. But deep down, the fear stayed, cold and real. The morning of the shower, pale sunlight slipped through the bedroom blinds like thin fingers. I stood half-dressed in front of the mirror, dusty rose dress still on the hanger, staring at the folded bank statement on the dresser. My hands shook a little as I touched my 6-month belly. Our baby girl gave a strong kick, like she knew something big was coming. At work I studied cold numbers and spotted danger early. Here the danger felt personal, close, and I couldn't look away. The doorbell rang early. Julia, my best friend since college, the steady nurse who never panicked in a crisis. I pulled on a robe and opened the door. She stepped inside fast, carrying 2 coffees, her eyes sharp the second she saw my face. You look like you're getting ready for war, she said, setting the cups down. What happened? I led her straight to the bedroom and sat on the edge of the bed. The words poured out, quiet but fast, like I had held them in too long. Sandra stole $4,750 from our savings. 3 small transfers so the bank wouldn't notice. Nicole found the proof in an old email. I showed Noah last night and he asked me not to say anything at the shower. He said let's not make drama. My voice cracked. Then Sandra called last night. She wants me in yellow to match her decorations. I said no, and she told me she has a big surprise planned. Something she's worked on for months. Personal. I keep thinking it's going to be bad, Julia, like she's going to hurt me in front of everyone. Julia listened without moving, her face growing tighter with every word. She reached over and took my hand. Avery, that's theft. Straight up. And asking you to stay quiet? That's not protecting you, that's protecting her. You're carrying his child and he still picks the easy road? I nodded, tears stinging my eyes. I feel so alone sometimes. My own mom would have been here helping me pick the dress, laughing about baby names. Instead, Sandra uses my missing mom like a knife every chance she gets. At work I catch these patterns. People who control everything and call it love. I see it so clear with her, but Noah doesn't. What if her surprise is worse than the money? What if she tries to turn the whole room against me? Julia squeezed my hand harder. Then we face it together. You're not alone today. I've got your back and my phone is fully charged. If anything feels off, I record. Not to start trouble, just to have proof. You're smart, Avery. You've always been the one who sees the full picture before anyone else. Trust that today. I let out a shaky breath. The baby kicked again, harder this time. And I placed both hands over the spot. We're going to be okay, little one, I whispered. Mommy won't let anyone take what's ours. Julia stood and helped me zip the dusty rose dress. It felt soft and right against my skin. You look beautiful, she said. Strong, ready. I looked in the mirror one last time. My reflection stared back. Tired eyes, round belly, but chin up. Fear still sat cold in my chest, but so did something sharper. Determination. I had the bank statement in my purse like hidden armor. Whatever Sandra had planned, I wouldn't stay silent this time. We grabbed our bags and headed for the door. Outside, the air felt too still, like the world was holding its breath. Julia drove, and I watched the houses pass, heart beating faster with every mile closer to Sandra's perfect yellow and cream world. The surprise waited there. I could feel it pulling tighter, like a trap ready to snap shut. We pulled up to Sandra's house just after noon. The place looked like something from a magazine. Yellow and white balloons floating in perfect arches, cream streamers catching the light, and a big gold banner over the fireplace that read "Welcome Baby Bennett" in fancy cursive. 42 guests already milled around with glasses of punch and tiny sandwiches. It smelled like fresh flowers and expensive perfume. Everything was beautiful. Nothing was mine. Noah squeezed my hand as we stepped through the door. See, Mom really outdid herself this time. His voice sounded proud. I forced a smile and nodded, but inside my chest felt tight. At work I read patterns in data all day. Tiny clues that something was off. Here the pattern screamed. Sandra had built a stage, and I was the guest who didn't fit the script. The first face I saw was Amanda's. She stood by the gift table in a yellow dress that matched the decorations exactly. Blonde hair perfect, smile slow and knowing. My stomach dropped. Had Sandra told her what to wear? Amanda gave me a little wave, eyes bright with something that wasn't friendly. Before I could speak, Sandra swept toward us in cream silk and pearls, arms wide. Avery, there you are. She pulled me into a hug so tight I felt her pearls press into my collarbone. Our beautiful mama-to-be, she announced to the whole room. Everyone clapped politely, but in my ear she whispered, low and sharp, glad you didn't wear yellow. Makes things easier for what's coming. She let go, smiling like nothing had happened. My skin went cold. What did that mean? I looked at Noah, but he was already chatting with a cousin, completely missing the whisper. Disappointment hit me hard again. He loved me, I knew that, but he still couldn't see the small cuts his mother made. 6 months pregnant, our daughter kicking softly under my hand, and I felt more alone than ever. My own mom would have noticed that whisper. She would have stood right beside me and said, "That's enough." Instead I had this. The next hour dragged in, forced smiles and small talk. I moved through the crowd, one hand on my belly, answering questions about due dates and names while Sandra watched me from across the room. Her eyes looked pleased, like a cat who already had the mouse in its paws. Every few minutes she'd glide over, touch my arm and say something sweet that felt like a warning. "You're glowing, dear. Pregnancy suits you. Mostly. Or don't eat too many of those cookies, you want to stay healthy for the baby." I caught Julia's eye across the room. She raised her eyebrows in a silent "You okay?" I gave a tiny shake of my head. My analyst mind kept spinning. Every compliment was a control move, every glance a reminder that this was her show. The fear grew thicker with every minute. What was the surprise? Would she use the party to make me look small again? Would she bring up my missing mom in front of all these people? At exactly 2:30, Sandra clinked a fork against her champagne glass. The room went quiet fast. "Everyone, please gather around," she called, voice bright. "Before we open gifts, I have a very special presentation for Avery, something I've worked on for months." My heart started pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. This was it, the surprise. I looked for Julia. She already had her phone ready in her hand. Then the front door opened with a rush of cool air. Nicole hurried in, cheeks flushed, breathing fast like she'd run the last block. She scanned the room until her eyes locked on mine. Something was wrong. I could see it in the tight line of her mouth. "Sorry I'm late," she said to the room, but she was already pushing through the crowd toward me. Sandra frowned. "Nicole, we're about to start the presentation. This is important." Nicole ignored her. She grabbed my elbow gently and guided me toward the big window, away from everyone. Her voice dropped to a whisper. I need to tell you something fast. Last night I heard Mom on the phone with Aunt Phyllis. She was talking about some list. I don't know exactly what it is, but she sounded excited in that bad way she gets. Like she was about to win something big. My mouth went dry. What kind of list, Nicole? I don't know, but whatever she's planning right now, be careful. She thinks she's untouchable in her own house, in front of family. Remember what you have in your purse. The bank statement. That's real proof. If she tries anything, use it. She might have written something down that gives you the opening. My hands started to shake. The baby gave a hard kick, like she was warning me too. Grief and fear mixed inside me so strong I almost couldn't breathe. Why did it have to be like this? My own mom would have protected me from this kind of trap. Instead, I had to fight Sandra with a folded piece of paper while 42 people watched. I felt the weight of every backhanded comment, every stolen dollar, every time Noah stayed quiet. Nicole gripped my arm tighter. You're not alone today. I'm right here. If she tries to hurt you, stand up. You deserve better. And so does my niece. Avery, Nicole, Sandra's voice cut across the room like a knife. We're waiting, ladies. Come join us. Her smile stayed perfect, but her eyes were sharp as glass. Nicole squeezed my hand once, quick and strong. You've got this, she whispered, then stepped back. I stood there for one more second, heart racing, hand on my belly, the dusty rose dress suddenly feeling like armor. The whole room watched me walk back to the center. Whatever was in that envelope Sandra held, I knew one thing for sure. I wasn't going to stay quiet anymore. I walked slowly back to the center of the room. 42 pairs of eyes followed every step. My dusty rose dress felt warm against my skin, but my hands were ice cold. The baby kicked hard, like she was saying, Mommy, be brave. My heart pounded so loud I could hear it in my ears. At work I stayed calm when big numbers didn't add up, and fraud stared me in the face. Here the fraud was family, and it felt 10 times heavier. A hand caught my wrist gently. Aunt Beatrice. She sat on the sofa near the window, champagne glass untouched beside her. Her eyes were kind but tired, like she had carried secrets for too long. Sit with me just a second, sweetie, she said softly. I sat. The cushion felt too soft under my pregnant weight. How are you holding up? She asked, voice low so only I could hear. I'm fine, I lied, just tired. She studied my face for a long moment. I've known Sandra for over 25 years, since she married my brother. Most people don't see what she really is. She never liked anyone who didn't follow her rules exactly. Beatrice glanced across the room where Sandra stood arranging the white envelope. Did she treat you like this too? I nodded, throat tight. Every day since I met Noah, backhanded words, reminding me I grew up without a mom. Now this party, it feels like a trap. Beatrice's smile was thin and sad. It probably is, but you're stronger than she thinks. Do you have proof of anything? I touched my purse where the bank statement waited like a hidden knife. I didn't speak, just met her eyes. She nodded slowly. Good, keep it close. When she tries something today, don't let silence win. Silence is how she has beaten everyone for 25 years. Tears stung my eyes. Beatrice's words hit deep. My own mom would have said almost the same thing. Stand tall, don't let them shrink you. Grief washed over me again, sharp and fresh. 6 months pregnant, missing my mom more than ever, feeling so alone in this crowded room. But Beatrice's hand on mine felt like a tiny anchor. Everyone, gather around. Sandra's voice rang out, bright and commanding. Beatrice squeezed my fingers one last time. Go on. Remember you are enough. I stood and walked the last few steps to the center. The semicircle of guests closed in. Noah stood beside his mother, still smiling, completely unaware. Sandra held the white envelope like it was a prize. Avery, sweetheart, come here, she said, voice sweet as candy. She pulled me close again. I've put so much thought into this moment. As a mother, I only want the very best for my son. Murmurs of how sweet rippled through the crowd. Sandra held out the envelope. This is a list, she announced clearly, of 39 reasons my son should divorce you. For one heartbeat the room went completely silent. Then Noah laughed, a surprised chuckle that spread fast. Aunt Phyllis laughed. Cousin Kevin laughed loud. A woman I didn't know laughed so hard she wiped her eyes. They thought it was a joke, a funny mother-in-law gag. Sandra laughed too. But her eyes never left my face. Cold. Waiting. This was no joke. Noah nudged me. Come on, babe. Open it. This is hilarious. I took the envelope. It felt heavier than paper should. My fingers trembled just a little as I tore it open. 4 pages, neatly typed, numbered 1 to 39. The room buzzed with excited whispers. This is priceless. Sandra's such a character. I began to read out loud, voice steady even though my stomach twisted. Number 1. She doesn't know how to cook a proper roast. A few chuckles. Number 4. She convinced my son to move 20 minutes away from me. More laughter. Number 7. She works too much. A wife should be home. Number 15. She's too independent. A good wife relies on her husband. The complaints were small and mean, the kind of list someone writes when they've been angry for years. I kept reading, each word cutting deeper. My mind flashed to my mom again, how she would have held me and said these words meant nothing. Tears burned, but I held them back. I was an analyst. I saw patterns. This list was Sandra's way of saying I didn't belong. Then I reached number 17. I read it once, then again. My heart stopped for a second. Sandra's voice cut in, too sweet. Anything interesting, dear? I looked up. 42 people waited. Julia stood ready with her phone. Nicole looked pale near the door. Aunt Beatrice watched from the sofa. Noah grinned. Come on, read some out loud. This is funny. Sandra tilted her head. Yes, dear. Share with everyone. I took a deep breath. My hands shook, but my voice stayed strong. Reason number 17, I said clearly so the whole room could hear. She is so careless with money that I frequently have to step in and manage their joint accounts for them. Proof she doesn't pay attention to their finances. The laughter died fast. Silence dropped like a heavy blanket. I kept going, calm and clear. For the record, I did know about the $4,750. Because according to this bank statement that you accidentally forwarded to the old family email, managing meant transferring $4,750 from our joint savings account in 3 careful moves without telling either of us. I reached into my purse and pulled out the folded pages. I held them up so everyone could see. Sandra's face went white, not pale, white like all the blood had drained away. Her mouth opened but no words came out. For the first time ever, Sandra Bennett had nothing to say. Noah stepped forward slowly. His smile faded. Wait, Mom. You took money from our account? The room exploded into whispers. I stood perfectly still, hand on my belly, feeling our daughter kick like she was cheering. I hadn't yelled. I hadn't caused a scene. I had simply read her own words back to her. And in that moment the loneliness I had carried for so long started to crack. I wasn't alone anymore. Sandra's face drained of all color. Her perfect hostess smile cracked like thin ice. For the first time in all the years I had known her, she had no quick answer ready. That's it. It was only a loan, she finally stammered, voice high and shaky. For Noah's birthday. I was going to pay it back right away. You know that, Avery. The room stayed dead silent except for a few shocked whispers. 42 people stared at her like they were seeing her for the first time. My heart hammered so hard I felt it in my throat. I kept my hand on my belly, feeling our daughter kick fast and strong, as if she could sense the storm breaking around us. At work I had watched frauds crumble when their own numbers were read back to them. This was the same. Only the numbers were my life, my baby's future. The loneliness I had carried for so long suddenly felt lighter, like someone had finally turned on the lights. But grief still cut deep. My own mom would have been here, arm around me, saying, "That's my girl." Instead I stood alone in the middle of this perfect yellow room, 6 months pregnant, holding proof that the woman who called herself family had stolen from us. Noah stepped closer to his mother, face pale. "Mom, you really took money from our savings without asking us. $4,750. Sandra reached for his arm, her hand trembling. "Noah, honey, please, it slipped my mind to mention it. You know how busy I've been planning this beautiful shower for your wife. I only did it because I love you. I wanted to give you something special. Avery is just, she's overreacting. She doesn't understand how family works." I felt the old ache rise again, sharp as ever. She was still trying to paint me as the difficult one, the outsider without a mother to teach me better. Tears burned behind my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. Aunt Beatrice rose slowly from the sofa, her voice cutting through the room like a cold wind. "That's not borrowing, Sandra. That's stealing. You accessed their account without permission. You wrote it down in your own list like it was nothing." She walked closer, eyes locked on Sandra's. "And this isn't the first time, is it? 25 years ago you told my brother I was stealing from the family. I never took a penny, But Edward died believing your lies. I lost my own brother because of you. I spent decades being treated like a criminal in this family, all because you couldn't stand anyone who didn't bow to your control." Gasps rippled through the crowd. A cousin whispered, "Is that why Dad stopped talking to Aunt Beatrice?" Beatrice's voice shook with old pain. "You made it all up, Sandra, and now you've done it again to your own son's pregnant wife. You wrote down your crime and handed her the proof yourself." Sandra spun around, looking for someone to agree with her. "That was different. Beatrice was always jealous. This is nothing like that. I was protecting my son." Nicole stepped forward, voice steady but eyes bright with tears. "I'm siding with the truth, Mom. I saw the email you forwarded by mistake. You stole from them. And you planned this list to humiliate Avery in front of all of us. That's not protecting anyone. That's cruel." The whispers grew louder. "She actually stole money from her own son and invited his ex-girlfriend here." Movement near the gift table. Amanda stepped out of the crowd, voice quiet but clear. "Mrs. Bennett, you told me Avery wanted old friends here for the shower. You said she asked you to invite me personally. That wasn't true, was it? You just wanted to hurt her on her special day." Sandra's mouth opened and closed. I was trying to make the party nicer, for the family." I finally spoke, my voice calm but strong. "You were trying to hurt me, Sandra. You've been trying since the day I met Noah. These are your words, all 39 of them." I held up the pages. Every backhanded comment about my dress, my job, my missing mom, you put it all here. You used my pain like a weapon, and you stole from our baby's future. I'm standing here 6 months pregnant, carrying the granddaughter you say you love, and you still thought you could break me in front of everyone. Tears slipped down my cheeks now, but they weren't from weakness. They were from the deep relief of finally speaking the truth out loud. My analyst mind saw the pattern shatter. Sandra's control had always relied on silence. Today that silence was gone. Noah stood between us, face tight with shock and hurt. "Mom, you took our money. You made a list to humiliate my wife at her own baby shower. You invited my ex-girlfriend and lied about it. I can't do this anymore." Sandra reached for him again, eyes desperate. "Noah, please. I only did this because I love you. She's changing you. She's taking you away from me. I was protecting you from someone who doesn't know how to be a real wife, a real mother." Noah stepped back from her touch, from the woman carrying my child, from my family. His voice broke. "You stole from us. You tried to destroy Avery in front of 42 people. I'm choosing my family, the one I'm building with her." Sandra's shoulders sagged. She grabbed her purse with shaking hands and walked toward the door. The crowd parted like water. At the threshold she turned, eyes locked on mine, full of rage and defeat. "This isn't over," she hissed. I met her gaze without flinching, one hand resting protectively on my belly. "I think it is." The door slammed behind her. For a long second no one moved. Then Aunt Beatrice lifted her champagne glass. "Well, that was 25 years overdue." Soft, shocked laughter broke the tension. The room started to breathe again. Nicole rushed to me and hugged me tight. "I'm so sorry, Avery. Are you okay?" I hugged her back, tears still falling but my heart feeling lighter than it had in months. "I think I'm better than I've been in a very long time." Julia appeared beside me, phone still in her hand. "I got it all on video, just in case." Noah came to me then, eyes red. "Avery, I'm so sorry. I should have seen this years ago. I should have protected you." I took his hand. "You see it now. That's what matters." Around us the baby shower slowly started again. Awkward at first, then warmer, like a heavy weight had finally lifted. I stood there, 6 months pregnant, surrounded by family that finally felt like mine. The loneliness that had lived inside me for so long cracked open and began to fade. The door slammed behind Sandra, and the whole room seemed to let out a long breath. For a moment everything stayed still. Then Aunt Beatrice raised her glass high. "Well," she said, voice warm and steady, "that was 25 years overdue." Soft laughter spread through the crowd, nervous at first, then real and relieved. The baby shower started again, but it felt different now. Lighter, warmer, like a heavy cloud had finally blown away. Relatives I barely knew came up to me one by one. Sandra's cousin Ellen touched my arm gently. "Thank you," she whispered. Someone needed to stand up to her. We were all too scared for too long. Other voices followed. "It was about time. You were so brave. We're glad you're part of this family." I stood there, 6 months pregnant, hand on my belly, feeling our daughter kick softly. Tears slipped down my cheeks, but they were happy ones. For the first time since I married Noah, I didn't feel like an outsider. I felt like I belonged. At work I spent my days spotting broken patterns and fixing them. Today I had done the same in my own life, and the relief washed over me like warm sunlight. But deep inside, the old grief still whispered. My mom would have hugged me tight right now and said, "I'm so proud of you, baby girl." I missed her so much it hurt, yet I also felt her strength inside me, helping me stand tall. Later a small group of us slipped into Sandra's quiet study. Noah, me, Nicole and Aunt Beatrice. The door clicked shut. "We need to talk about next steps," Beatrice said firmly. Noah sat on the edge of the big desk, looking tired but sure. "First thing tomorrow, I'm removing her access from our accounts. That should have happened years ago." Nicole nodded. "And the $4,750. I spoke softly, one hand still on my belly. "I don't want to sue her. I just want real boundaries. No more surprise visits, no more money access, no more decisions about our life until she earns it back." Beatrice smiled sadly. "Boundaries aren't punishment. They're protection for you, for Noah, and for that little girl you're carrying. Put them in writing. No contact until she gives a real apology and pays the money back." Noah took my hand. "I'll send her an email tonight. Clear rules. She can still be my mom, but not until she respects my wife and our family." We sat there together, talking quietly, making a plan. For the first time I wasn't fighting alone. That night our apartment felt lighter, like the air itself was cleaner. Noah sat on the couch scrolling through his phone. "I have 12 new messages," he said, surprised. "From Uncle Michael, Cousin Beth, Aunt Phyllis. People who haven't texted in years." "What are they saying?" I asked, curling up beside him with a hand on my belly. He read a few out loud. "Proud of you, son. That took guts. I always knew something was off with her. 25 years too late, but better late than never." Noah set the phone down and looked at me, eyes soft. "Avery, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I spent 28 years thinking her way was normal. It took you standing up today to show me it wasn't. I love you. I choose you and our daughter every single day from now on." I rested my head on his shoulder. "We're going to be okay," I whispered. The baby gave a gentle kick, and I smiled through fresh tears. The loneliness I had carried for so long was finally cracking apart, replaced by something warm and strong. A week later an email came from Sandra. Cold, blaming me, no real sorry. Noah read it, then typed his own short reply. "Until you genuinely apologize to Avery and pay back the money, I won't answer. I love you, but I love my family more." He hit send. 1 week after that, the money appeared back in our account. No note, just the $4,750. The apology still didn't come. Nicole called a few times over the next months. "Mom's not doing well," she said one day, voice heavy. "She's alone. Everyone blocked her. She called me crying last night. She's spiraling." I listened quietly, hand on my growing belly. "She can fix this, Nicole. All she has to do is say she's sorry for real. Until then, our door stays closed." I felt sad for her, but not guilty. I had a baby to protect now. Almost 8 weeks after the shower, I gave birth to our daughter. We named her Mia. The delivery room was bright and full of love. Julia holding my hand as a nurse, Nicole with flowers, Aunt Beatrice with a soft-knitted blanket. Noah never left my side through 15 long hours of labor. Sandra wasn't there. She still hadn't apologized. When they placed tiny Mia in my arms, everything else faded. Her little fingers wrapped around mine, and my heart swelled bigger than I knew it could. "You're safe, sweet girl," I whispered. "Mommy will always stand up for you. You'll never grow up feeling small or alone." Noah cried happy tears beside me. In that moment, the pain of the past felt smaller. This new life was what mattered. 4 months later, a real letter arrived, handwritten on pretty cream paper. Sandra's slanted writing. I sat at the kitchen table while Mia napped, and read it slowly. She wrote about her own cold childhood, about losing Noah's dad, and being scared of losing her son too. Then the words that mattered. "I was wrong. I controlled instead of loved. I hurt you because I was broken. I'm sorry for the list, the money, every cruel word about your mother. You are enough. You always were." Noah read it when he got home, his eyes filled with tears. "What do you want to do?" he asked. I thought about the pain, the stolen money, the list, the years of feeling small, but I also thought about Mia and the family we could still build. "We can meet," I said, "in public, with clear rules, And she doesn't hold Mia until she looks me in the eye and says it again in person. We met at a quiet coffee shop on a Tuesday. Sandra looked smaller, softer, like the months alone had changed her. She sat across from us, voice quiet. "I'm sorry, Avery. For the list, for the money, for every time I made you feel unwelcome. I was afraid, and I took it out on you. You didn't deserve it." Her eyes met mine, real and wet. I nodded slowly. "Thank you for saying that." When I placed sleeping Mia in her arms, Sandra's face crumpled with fresh tears. "She's beautiful," she whispered. I watched them, heart full but careful. I hadn't forgotten, and maybe I never would completely. But I had given her one chance because boundaries weren't walls, they were doors. And she had finally found the courage to knock. Our family wasn't perfect, but it was ours, and for the first time it felt safe. These moments, the ones where pain turns into strength and silence finally breaks, carry a kind of truth that stays with you long after the last word. If my story reached something deep inside you, if it reminded you of the quiet power we all hold when we choose our own family, then I hope you'll like it and subscribe so we can keep sharing stories this honest and this real together. Your heart being here with mine means more than I can say.